Have you ever stopped to think about what would happen if, tomorrow, we discovered that we are not alone in the universe? But I'm not talking about simple microorganisms on Mars or distant and doubtful signals captured by radio telescopes. Imagine, for a second, that humanity encountered a civilization far more advanced than ours. How would we react to such a shocking reality? This is one of the most controversial questions in modern science, and also one of the most feared. After all, we constantly discuss life beyond Earth in movies, series, and books, but are we truly ready to deal with something like this? What would happen to politics, religion, the economy, and even our identity as a species? Think about the impact. While we are still struggling to colonize the moon and send missions to Mars, they could already master technologies we can't even imagine. Could they manipulate the energy of stars, bend space-time, or even travel across dimensions? And more, would this encounter be peaceful, or would we face an existential risk to all humanity? Now, I ask you, if tomorrow a fleet of gigantic ships appeared in the skies, who do you think would make the first decision? Governments, great military powers, or corporations that already control much of the world's technology? And would human beings, divided by wars, inequalities, and political interests, have the maturity needed to face a challenge that demands global unity? Get ready, because in the next few minutes, we will explore the possible scenarios of this encounter. From the most hopeful to the most terrifying. After all, what would really happen when we discover a civilization far more advanced than ours? If we discovered a civilization far more advanced than ours, the first great revolution would take place in science. Imagine for a moment, everything we have studied and believed about physics, energy, and the very functioning of the universe could be called into question within seconds. Our theories, our technological limitations, and even our vision of the cosmos would become obsolete in the face of infinitely superior knowledge. Think about the technologies they could master. If they have already explored space on an interstellar scale, they have probably solved problems that still seem impossible to us: unlimited energy, faster than light travel, manipulation of gravity, cures for diseases that still plague us. Would this civilization share these advances with us, or would they keep their secrets to avoid giving us too much power? Now imagine the practical impact. How would global industry react if we discovered a source of clean and infinite energy offered by these beings? What would happen to the space race when we realize that their ships travel between galaxies while we still depend on chemical rockets? This would not only change science, but also the economy, politics, and even the balance of power on the planet. But there is an even more unsettling point. What if they simply didn't want to interact with us? What if they looked at humanity the way we look at ants, feeling no need to teach or care about our struggles? Would we be prepared to deal with the frustration of realizing that, to them, we are insignificant? And you? Do you believe that this encounter would be the key to an unprecedented scientific leap? Or would it simply highlight how far behind we really are on the grand cosmic stage? The discovery of a civilization far more advanced than ours would not only shake science and technology. The greater impact might lie at the heart of human society, in how we organize politically, relate socially, and even in the way we understand our own existence. Think about the social impact. How would the global population react to such a revelation? For some, it could be the greatest hope ever recorded, the chance to learn, evolve, and transform our reality. For others, it would be a cause of fear, panic, and even despair. After all, how do we cope with the idea that we are not alone, and that we are not even close to being the most advanced form of life in the universe? This would shake beliefs, traditions, and even human identity itself. On the political front, tensions would be inevitable. Who would have the right to establish contact? The United States, the UN, a global alliance? Or would each nation try, in secret, to establish its own relationship, seeking advantages over the others? This scenario could unite humanity in a common front or intensify disputes, provoking even more dangerous rivalries. And in the philosophical and religious sphere, such a discovery could redefine fundamental concepts about God, creation, and purpose. Some religions might interpret these beings as angels, gods, or messengers. Others could collapse, unable to reconcile their doctrines with the reality of much older and more powerful intelligences. And you? Do you believe that an encounter with superior beings would unite us into a new era of global cooperation? Or would it reveal even deeper divisions, showing how much we are still trapped by ego, power, and human disputes. When imagining the future after the discovery of a civilization far more advanced than ours, completely different scenarios emerge, some full of hope, others filled with risks and uncertainties. In the most optimistic scenario, this civilization could share with us unimaginable knowledge. Imagine cures for incurable diseases, inexhaustible energy sources, and technologies capable of restoring Earth's environmental balance. Perhaps they would help us overcome our limitations, teaching us to live in harmony with the universe. In this case, humanity could take an unprecedented evolutionary leap, abandoning wars and inequalities to focus on a greater purpose, exploring the cosmos and cooperating between species. But there is also a darker scenario. What if, to them, we were nothing more than a primitive species, incapable of comprehending their greatness? In that case, we could be ignored, treated as insignificant, or even exploited as resources. The risk of becoming a lesser species in a cosmic hierarchy cannot be ruled out. Would we be able to live with the awareness that we are not at the top of the chain, but at the bottom? There is also the intermediate scenario, where contact would be restricted, cautious, and full of limits. They might observe us, interact minimally, and establish rules so that we do not advance beyond what we can understand. We would be like apprentices in a much more complex universe. In the end, everything will depend not only on them, but on us. If we are prepared for this encounter, perhaps we can turn it into a unique opportunity for growth. But if we remain trapped by ego, power, and fear, we risk turning humanity's greatest discovery into its greatest tragedy. And you? Do you believe that an encounter with a superior civilization would be the key to humanity's evolution or the beginning of our downfall?